Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level social studies lesson. Today we're going to be talking about the history of environmental movements. So you can think about the issues that we discussed in the last video: air pollution, deforestation, climate change, water pollution, and then kind of review these questions, explain what each of these issues is, why do they happen, what are the results, and what can we do to stop them from happening. So we're going to read about the environmental movement. So before you read, try and match the vocabulary words with their definitions. You can pause the video and try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to continue. So to hurt or damage somebody or something, that would be number 3, to harm. The protection of the natural environment would be conservation, number 7. A feeling of worry is number 1, concern. To make somebody want to do something, that would be number 2, inspire. A large area of land that humans never use would be number 8, wilderness. To give reasons to support your thoughts, I believe that would be to argue. To start or create something is to establish. And everything that you can see when you look across a large area of land is landscape. So now complete the sentences with words from the boxes, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So cutting down trees can harm the animals that live in the forests. Visiting the wilderness is a great way to get away from the stress of modern life. There is a lot of concern about the pollution in the river. These scientists argue that we must reduce the amount of fossil fuels we use. The green hills will make the landscape very beautiful. The government decided to establish an agency to protect the environment. Our teachers' love for nature inspired us to plant trees, and we started a conservation group at school to protect the local environment. So now read the information and answer the questions. You can pause the video and read on your own or follow along as I read. The environmental movement is a group of people who want to protect the earth. They want to stop pollution, save animals, and take care of nature. They believe we must keep the planet clean and healthy for everyone now and in the future. So these are just some thought questions. When do you think that the environmental movement started, and why do you think it started? All right, so it says read quickly. When and why did the movement start? Again, you can pause the video and read this on your own or follow along as I read. In the 19th century, people in the U.S. began to realize that some human activities had a negative effect on the environment. The first person to talk about this concern was Ralph Waldo Emerson. In 1836, Emerson wrote an essay called Nature. In this essay, he explained that humans are connected to the natural world and should respect it. His ideas inspired many people to think about the importance of protecting the environment. A few years later, in 1864, George Perkins Marsh wrote an important book called Man and Nature. This book was one of the first to talk about the damage humans were causing to the environment. Marsh believed that activities like deforestation and farming harmed the land. He argued that people needed to use the land responsibly to prevent future problems. In 1872, things began to change. The United States government established Yellowstone National Park, which became the first national park in the world. The goal was to protect the beautiful landscapes and wildlife in the area. This event was a major step in the conservation movement. In 1892, John Muir founded the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club was an organization that worked to protect natural areas. The Sierra Club helped preserve important wilderness spaces, and Muir became one of the most influential conservationists in American history. All right, so how did Emerson and Marsh communicate their ideas about the environment? Well, Emerson wrote an essay and Marsh wrote a book. And according to Emerson and Marsh, why should people protect the environment? Emerson believed that humans are connected to the natural world and should respect it. And Marsh argued that people needed to use the land responsibly to prevent future problems. So, why did the United States decide to establish Yellowstone National Park? Well, the goal was to protect the beautiful landscapes and wildlife in the area. And why did Muir start the Sierra Club? Um, so, in order to help preserve important wilderness spaces. All right, so complete the timeline summary with the words in the boxes. Again, you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Ralph Waldo Emerson published Nature. He argued that people must respect nature and care for the environment. George Perkins Marsh wrote Man and Nature. He explained that humans are harming the land and we must protect it. 1872, the United States created Yellowstone National Park. It became the first national park in the world to protect nature. 1892, John Muir started the Sierra Club. The club works to save natural places and protect the wilderness. All right, so this is a quick review of the past simple. We use the past simple to talk about finished events in the past. For some for some verbs, we add ed or d to the dictionary form to make the past simple, and we call these regular verbs. So the United States established Yellowstone National Park, and he argued that people needed to use the land responsibly. So here we added ed to establish and d to argue to form the simple past. For other verbs, the simple past does not use ed or d, and you just need to remember these forms. These are regular verbs. So was is the past tense of the verb to be. Became is the past tense of become, and began is the past tense of begin. All right, so complete the sentences with the simple past form of the verbs. So people saw the damage caused by deforestation and took action. In 1836, Emerson inspired people with his essay Nature. John Muir founded the Sierra Club to protect nature. The government created new laws to reduce pollution. Many people supported the creation of national parks. People planted trees to help restore the forests. The environmentalists fought to protect endangered animals. The scientists discovered that pollution was harming the ocean. George Perkins Marsh wrote Man and Nature in 1864, and the company stopped using plastic bags to reduce waste. So the modern environmental movement started in the 1960s and 1970s. So match the sentenences to complete the timeline. And there's one vocabulary word. Insecticide is a chemical used on farms for killing insects. So try these on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number one, in 1962, Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring, and she told people about the dangers of using insecticides for the environment. In 1969, the Cuyahoga River caught fire due to its pollution. And this event showed the serious problem of water pollution in the United States. In 1970, the first Earth Day took place. Millions of people joined together to support the protection of the environment. Also in 1970, the United States created the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, and this agency helps to make laws that protect the air, water, and land. In 1973, the Endangered Species Act started, and this law helped to protect animals and plants that are in danger of disappearing. And in 1979, the 3 Mile Island nuclear accident happened in Pennsylvania, and this event raised concerns about the safety of nuclear power. Alright, so looking at the timeline notes, we're using the simple past to explain what happened. And then now match the sentences to complete the rest of the timeline. First, though, we'll look at the vocabulary. Toxic is an adjective meaning containing poison. Emissions, that's a noun, and they are gases that are sent out into the air. In 1980, the United States passed the Superfund Act, and this law helps clean up toxic waste sites. In 1987, the Brundtland Commission published its report on sustainable development, and this idea means that we must protect the environment while growing our economies. 1987 also, the countries around the world signed the Montreal Protocol, so that's letter E. They agreed to stop using harmful chemicals. 1992, world leaders met at the Rio Earth Summit, and that matches with letter F. They discussed global environmental problems like climate change. 1997, countries adopted the Kyoto Protocol, and they agreed to reduce emissions to help stop global warming. And 1998, Wangari Maathai starts the Green Belt movement in Kenya. This movement plants trees to fight deforestation. So now you can look at the timeline notes and see if you can write a summary using simple past tense and also sequencing words. So here's some review questions just to think about. What is the environmental movement? When did it start in the United States? And what were some important events in the 20th century? And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.